Meet Emorfik, the dubstep artist whose electrifying beats and signature style have taken the music scene by storm. Emorfik isn't your typical dubstep artist. His music isn't just about bass drops and heavy beats. It's a visceral experience that taps into raw emotion like no other. Emorfik coined the term angry shit only to describe his unique brand of dubstep, a fusion of raw energy, intense emotion, and unapologetic intensity. And his approach has resonated with fans worldwide. Over the past 3 years, Emorfik's Instagram following has exploded, as fans flock to experience his electrifying music and captivating performances. What sets Emorfik apart is his ability to channel his inner turmoil into music that speaks to the soul. His angry style isn't just a gimmick, it's an authentic expression of his innermost feelings, packaged into beats that hit you right in the gut. So buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the world of Emorfik, the dubstep sensation who's turning heads and shaking up the music scene one angry beat at a time. And today, I'm showcasing this.
Body dysmorphia.
So first, let's just start with the vocal.
I don't feel like myself. I don't feel like myself.
We're going to turn off the delay for the meantime. What it is it's all going to come down to how your voice sounds. It's going to be a pitch down. So without any processing, let me show you what it sounds like.
I don't feel like myself.
And it's just my voice.
I don't feel like myself.
What I learned is I turn it down about an octave, and then I don't fully get rid of the formants here because it doesn't really sound different. I think halfway, or like here.
I don't feel like myself.
I don't feel like myself. I don't feel like
I don't feel like myself. I don't feel like myself.
Like I feel like there's a happy medium with the formants here. And that's just going to be to taste. That's just going to be how your voice reacts. As you see, there's a lot of post-processing, but it's okay. So update mid video as we were going over the vocals and all that. We're going to change that up because Emorfik actually just sent me a quick little pre-drop vocal. Sounds like this. And I wanted to reference it a little more. So first of all, like I said, it's kind of the tonality of your voice that's very important. In this, it's going to be a little different. This is what I recreated. I didn't really clean this up because I literally just got done doing this take. All that is like doing a, almost like a pig voice, like, you will burn, you will burn. I can't even do it. It hurts my throat. But having like that, being able to do that is what's going to help you in this. Also, I started putting it in this rack, so you guys have everything in this rack good to go. I'll fill in this last macro, but I want to show you real quick. Is kind of where we're at, and we're kind of sitting close as far as span. It's a little effects at the beginning. Now you can make it a little wider, which is what I'll put at the end here. I'm going to put something though, stereoed out. Let's just dive in how I do this real quick. All this stuff will be related to here, so we don't need to worry about the macros. It's just kind of default what they're set on right now. Multi-band compression, because it's going to be a common trait during this. I have a gate because where I record is loud, so LA is not the quietest, so a gate, and reduce ambience. So if you don't have kilohertz gate, it's not a big deal. This is just purely for recording. Then we go OTT, just 50% default, or the amount, everything else is default. Boost lows. I also boost the high end. I go into another default OTT at 50%. I boost the mids, which you have control over all this. It's going to be the pink labeled right here for you. Then a little bit of noise, just adding that kind of void and filling that a little better. Another OTT going again, into boosting the mid highs, which is just going to level out from OTT squashing everything. De-esser, because you can get some clicks and all that. A Redux parallel rack, which just adds like a little bit of space, which you can turn up more if you want. So if you want it a little higher, sounds cool. You can control that however you want. Saturator, which is going to be controlled right here. Just bring up the volume. We have a reverb. You can control the decay and dry wet. Boost presence, once again, you can boost the presence if you want. It's just kind of where the vocal usually kind of lacks after OTT in a vocal after you turn it down like an octave. Another saturator, just soft clipping. Utility, bringing it more mono. And delay for those really long delay throws. That is the rack, and that's what you guys will get with the download. Had to come back and re-edit this section, so sorry if it kind of feels like choppy, but he sent me that, so I wanted to put it in because I appreciate him trying to give me resources to make this video more fun. So all right, back to the normal video. Other than that, I am sending it to my long reverb, which is around 2 seconds, my short reverb, which is around half a second, and then a quarter note delay. These are all sidechain to my vocals, so they don't activate till after. And then I also have this delay, which is at a bar and 2 bars and kind of modulates up to create this space during the fills. You like that. And I'm just talking. Other than that, during the drop, same thing, just me talking. And I added a doubler on this one below. It's just a Waves double remake, the plugin Waves, and I slightly detuned it. So together, I turn this up. That's really it to get the iconic Emorfik vocal in it. Now for synths, all you really need to do is just grab, splice, and some terrifying background and textures. For me, I played with, we have a horn, cello, we have a low brass, I got this one atmosphere effect that adds I have this ambience, and then I've got this like chalkboard fully thing that I just pitched around Redux, OTT, and just made this really kind of without any of this on. Have the effects super easy, just a downlifter, an uplifter, some vocals that laughter that I pitched up and down. A little bit of Redux. Just kind of creating that kind of creepy atmosphere. And then drums, just super simple. I pitched a ride down 1. So just every 2 bars hits a lot of reverb. Going into the kind of build, just a kick, low pass. And that's the whole intro right here. So if we play everything together.
Don't feel like myself. Don't feel like myself. Every time I see a different person, I can't tell what's real and what's fake. There's no helping me anymore.
So now we're kind of in the fake out section. I just have, once again, these hats playing every half note. I have my drop kick, sidechain. This could actually go a little bit longer. Ride. As far as the effects go, same thing, just a down sweep, up sweep. and the basses. I have just some hat that I played with shifter and redux, gave this. Just kind of like a clock. This growl, I just want to create something really weird. I pitched it up. I put these vocal things that evolve over time, OTT'd, shifted it. It's a very interesting sound. By itself, stretched. And with it. As far as the Serum patch goes, it's actually very interesting. It's just a saw from FM, kind of wide, but then globally shut down to mono. And the cool thing is I'm putting a note on this stuff. So depending on the notes is the more detune and coarse you'll get. If I bypass just all destinations, listen to how it sounds on its own here. But if I activate it, adds a lot of tonal jumping, a lot more just liveliness. If I turn off the effects, sounds like this. And reverb is obviously making it longer. Other than that, I just have a redux on my master. As you'll see here, just starts pulling everything down.
Body dysmorphia.
So drop is pretty simple. He likes to use a variety of things. He uses snares, claps, but his claps are very spacey. That's what I did. He has usually like a low thump kick. This bad clap did the job for me. This NASCAR ride worked perfect. Freaky crash. And that's the drums. So the first 8 bars is just a 1-3 pattern. And then I noticed he likes to go off grid. So the second half, I kind of switch it up. A little off grid, delayed clap, added kicks. Just a little fun there on the drum pattern. And then let's get into the screaming vocals. So I originally took this vocal. Yeah! And then I stretched it with a warp off, so it elongates it instead of keeping it the same. And that gave like this really, honestly, I think like spot on, like Emorfik growl or like tone. This is just one of my screams, which I repeated because he has like that demonic kind of sound to it. Once again, that's just going through the same processing. That's really it for the vocal part. As far as the drop goes, I fattened up the synth using a VR fat rack, and then it gets cut off at the growl and the clap. So our initial downbeat. And then we're into our guns. Emorfik likes to use guns, right? Just kind of like rhythm, heavy, stylish flows. So I just use guns. I just made this with a couple different sounds together. There was a lot of disperser that ended up not happening, but I think I took this and then cut it and put it in here and pitched it up. You can hear the disperser, but I'm using a 4-band OTT, which is just different OTTs set to different bands. Shifter, compressor and reverb, EQing where I want for that one. Then we have the main gun. We're using shifter without it. Disperser. More disperser. I'm using my gun enhancer rack, which whenever I drop my Patreon, it will be on there, but without it. I'm also using a really short tonal delay, just helping add a little space to this. And then finally, I have another, just adding mids. So the guns by themselves. And then finally, we have a sub to go with it. A sub is a lot of post-processing. It's making it very tear-out-ish. By itself, it sounds like this. with the post-processing sounds like this. Overdrive to blow out the lower mids a little bit, but not too much, 25%. OTT 50%. Hiss doing a lot of work here. Just adding more mids. I think I have another hiss, yeah. We turn off the hisses. A lot of hiss, shaping up the lower, getting rid of the lower mids. Disperser, adding a little bit of transient to this. Just adds a little bit of zoom zoom, kind of like guns do. A little more OTT, shaping up the low end again, because I really want to punch through. The sub takes up a lot of the mix. We turn off all this. This is what my sub looked like before. And with it. And finally, finishing with a hiss. That's just adding a ton of white noise. I wanted like the white noise of the guns come from my sub. So if you hear the guns and the sub together now, we have this. And then my growl filler here, that's kind of, which is just part of my pack. You can grab it. I'll link it. It should be linked in the description actually. But you can get 20% off by using YouTube 20. I just took it, I changed the initial growl that was in here. I just put a different table in, and I just started messing with the parameters and just trying to get different sounds. So I just played with an existing patch, which, you know what, for fun, let me just show you real quick what it looked like. Went from that to this. And there's just a little bit of tonal. The phaser's helping with this. And the reason why it's staying at that tone is because I have envelope if I did trigger. It's just a pitch ramp down on this. I'll show kind of what everything's going to. There, diode, band reject does look decent. And then the pitch bending a lot. This is where I get all my variety from. In this, you'll see. That's how we get this one. That's the echo out there. So that's my growl. As far as sustains go, I kept a really easy patch here. And just saws going into flanger. So let me show you what it sounds like by itself. The audio is just printed and then using impulse response as a layer. Without flange. Without the second flange. Without either flange. But since it's like rhythm-ish, I wanted to go with something flange or combed. And it's just your basic run-of-the-mill. I mean, level and distortion is all the LFOs are in this. That's all this patch is. And you'll see this one. Just adding a different ring from this impulse response. And boosting where I need it to. Together. Being grouped together and then shifted down. And 100% mono for the stereo in my pre-master. And other than that, I'm switching up the sub at the second half. Instead of going with the guns, now it's just going to be like half note. And we're having some fun with some fake out stuff here. My fake out rack, which will be on my Patreon, which I'm sorry I haven't dropped it yet. I want to make sure I have enough resources built up on it, but it works really easy. All you do is turn on what note or key you're in, and that's how I create that tone with the guns. Don't change anything else. I just literally just throw on that rack real quick. Once again, he likes to do different types of fills. In the second half, the growls are kind of more periodic than just the 4-bar fill, because he likes to do different fills at different times. Doesn't like to completely stay on grid with like his style of dubstep, where like 4 or 3.5 bar fill, 3.5 bar phrasing. So we kind of changed it up in the second half to show that. And then finally, the drop effects that back everything up. Sounds like this. Now you may think that sounds really loud, and I would agree, but Track Spacer turns this down in context of everything. Track Spacer is just like a time sidechain, so it frequencies. I can choose how much it does. See, without it. With it. So they're not going to have interfering stuff. It just kind of fills the drop where it needs to fill. I'm adding a little more push-pull. And that's all that's doing, is just creating more just space in the back of the mix. And other than that, I echoed out really heavy final bass here, which is right here, as you heard. Usually has some type of eerie fallout, so it made sense that... And that's how you Emorfik, guys. I'll drop below the vocal rack. I'll make it pretty and macros on it to make it easier to use for you guys. Like I said, you can grab that below. You can grab my pack below. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.